order for everyone on the audience. T. Case in the order of industry. Sorry. T. Case, industry, China. Their counterplan. Then the NASA to after said, skip to this said. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna run grab a drink. I'll be right back.
After this one. You're giving us the preview. Aggravating.
What? Yes. All right.
You're a little violent up there, huh? Not at me, not at me.
Just say it one more time.
Yeah.
Or no, never mind. I can have it.
What are we waiting for?
What?
Jump into them? What are we waiting for?
We got it.
Alright.
Yeah. I was waiting for everyone to stop talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Camera's good still, I assume? Okay. On to we meet the satellites or U.S. satellites who really cooperate with India over the development, and it's a cornerstone of U.S.-based development that's Fukushima 2011. Obama and Singh agreed to collaborate in the application of space technology and related scientific capabilities in the outer space development. First leaders agreed to cooperate with safety and security of space activities, and we need entities operating underneath the government contract are legally recognized as part of the government. Many former court cases prove that AIMS Inc. versus the United States 2004. The Supreme Court ruled that PX qualified for the government exemption from fuel tax and early recognizing the existence of the government agency from which the government had not accepted financial responsibility. Board versus United States, Alaska Tab Covers, United States Kyber, United States Board and City of the United States recovery salary. The court reached a conclusion that it's related to not to the United States on contract, armed regulations, safe exchange contracts, non-government contracts, and yet the Supreme Court said the exchange are the arms of the government. The Army cannot set aside an act of Congress, and on their increase, we allow for more launches. We defend an increase, they get their links. Counter-interpretation. It can be associated in some way with, that's word English dictionary, and 9. Of belonging to or associated in some way with, and reason to prefer a F ground. They limit the topic 2 or 3 after them. U.S. key warrants F ground outweighs an A ground because they have generic kind of plans to read F. Creativity is key to fairness, and commercial satellites are owned by the USFG. That's Sharma and 10. Directly, the NSSO said that 80% of the U.S. defense satellite communication with fixed ground stations are provided by commercial operators, and B. Literature cooperation is normal means their interpretation artificial limits the lib base means any education they provide is useless. Only after education can be used outside of the debate. That's Fukushima 11. Above all, the NSP's great emphasis on the importance of international cooperation has significant meaning for Asia. Obama's NSP is, however, regional cooperation incorporates concepts throughout, instead of just mentioning it in one section. NSA limits too many satellites, but 1. Absolute U.S. key warrants limited amounts of affirmatives that we can have, and 2. Solvency advocates check, and they say ground, but we don't sever any links, and they still get all counterpoint ground they want, and air competing interpretation creates a racial divide and sensitizes T debate, which distractions suspended education from the topic. The app is reasonable. Case. They say all caused the lack of launches, but 1, the card indicates that the FAA was restricting rockets, not satellites. 2, even the telecommunication industry was the primary customer. They would just be able to sell more launches to other consumers. And 3, extent SIA 11, the satellite industry is taking due to the lack of revenue, and our Hill-10 card indicates that it's due to the lack of the skyrocketing launch prices because of U.S. export control. And they say state government may increase launches, but our Hill-10 evidence indicates that it's the cost of launches, not the availability of launches that are keeping prices high. And affirmative is the only way that we actually increase launches. Skip the card. They say no chance of a hostile arrival rise, but extent there that U.S. leadership and status quo is preventing all these hostile arrivals. Our argument is that in the world of negative, we lose that ability to prevent, which means that there will be a hostile arrival rise. And they say all U.S. hedge is not chaos, but you can cross-apply there that in a world where we don't have hedge, other rises, the hostile arrivals rise up. Also, our China event indicates that a world absent U.S. hedge is a China-dominant one, which leads to the Taiwan War. And they have like the space debris thing. Non-unique, none of their evidence that the lasers are actually developed in high working status, thus the debris will continue to pile up, and no evidence that plans to tipper Russia, China, and India all have space debris programs of their own and will continue and will always contribute more to the debris, and no feasible solution exists. It's right card 8. No one knows how to begin or remove orbital debris. No exertive solutions that have been identified. The problem almost always is costly. You want to spend tens of millions to retrieve every single rocket body. You can do it, but it doesn't make any sense economically. And lasers aren't going costly. That's Reichart 8. NASA and the U.S. Air Force Space Command have studied the concept of all the laser boom designed to eliminate small debris, and with an estimated cost of $500 million, it's not certainly not within anyone's budget. China. They say China's space useful now, but our space news aided evidence indicates that China is developing anti-satellite space weapons and use one of them to shoot down one of their own satellites, and then their military, then their space program is dominated by their military, proves that China is being militarized. Counterplan. First, permanently both, and 100% solvency deficit. They can literally not solve the case. They can't solve the China advantage because this advantage is about counterbalancing China in space. Our impact evidence is about China using space dominance to attack Taiwan. Counterplan does nothing to stop this, and they can't solve the space issue because there is no way that they lower the cost of launches. Counterplan links to politics. A, GOP hates defense cooperation because they fear it will give away military secrets and it's open-ended. And B, flip-flop for Obama. Counterplan has him support missile defense, which he has been against for a long time. And space industry is key to emerging economies, that's including India, that's Esther Hazy and 9. India and China, which use the most recent technology to accelerate development space technology, can very effectively overcome deficiencies in infrastructure on the ground. Space-based systems deliver information and services that project lives and environment, enhance prosperity and security, and stimulate scientific, industrial, and economic development. The utilization of space system application contributes to economic growth. The capabilities must be supported industrial-based and appropriation, research and development activities in both public and private sector. Promotion of domestic space industry is one of the cornerstones of national space policy, and growth solves South Asian war. That's Mahmoud and Mercer 10. If India is able to export or import more, so we could at least put a check on the rise of security conflict and hostilities with adjust some average level and decline. Indian trade will enhance hostilities, more access to Pakistani markets on the Indian side, may lead to conflict mitigation. If Pakistan is not able to also export more to India, the rise in education expenditures puts a check on hostilities, standard representation in the Pakistan conflict, not only the benefits of horse peace trends, but also to explain the rationale behind recent India-Pakistan peace initiative with decreasing hostilities market there and nuclear warfare 2000. Kashmir has already sparked two classes of deployment for India and Pakistan when engaging nuclear bombs with menace the entire planet with nuclear windows. Potential for nuclear exchanges over Kashmir is prompt national security advice to characterize the territory as the most dangerous place on Earth and strong space industrial base, good key to competitive edge in the global economy is Defense Daily 10. A new national space policy emphasizes international cooperation and would rapidly increase our capabilities in space while bolstering American competitiveness in global economy. The United States would engage in expanding international cooperation in space activities. The U.S. government will use commercial space products to promote innovation. The U.S. government will actively promote the use of space and commercial space goods and services within international cooperative agreements. The new policy takes important steps needed to maintain our global leadership in space and services, including competitive innovation. And next, NASA disadvantage. Case that weighs A is meant to the U.S. side solve for all the other impacts and hit there indicates that without U.S. power, the world would be embroiled in exploitatory wars. The power wars and subsequent humanitarian catastrophes. China's Taiwan conflict will lead to extinction. And B's time frame. The U.S. aerospace industry is in downward spiral, and China is looking to expand now. Pharmacologists have been saying that the end of the world is coming for 30 years. Nothing has happened. And C turn both advantage and nuclear world follow these worlds would accelerate climate change. The absolutes for the end non-unique there. Unique evidence says funds are also going to R&D, not all other signs. And no trade-offs empirics proves that land is 95. The result is that the government arguments against both products will be remembered by the money started Congress to a lot of missions, increase the funding and opportunities for men, science mission, and science budget. NASA have been rough with constant fractions, total budget, and any majority initiative will increase the overall space budget, likely to increase funding for science. And no link plan doesn't spend money. The AFTA signs an agreement to expand space launches. The majority of the money will be spent by India and private companies. And impossible to cut emissions, no modeling or momentum. That's MEAD 10. The global warming movement is dead, and prestigious agencies were breaking laws, hiding data, and making claims resting on no scientific basis. Scarce order can really grab the advocacy is being carried about reality. Scientists refuse to hand over data, hypothetical cons, just political strategy and market there. I'm gonna go ahead and skip the design. Cross-applied case outweighs and skip the one pass procedure in the TAA debate with Belgium 623. Pass with the FTA with South Korean data and set of actions sliding through the practice to make it hurt the TAA program of the free trade agreements will be sent to the White House with the VR. We introduce them as back to the House and Senate for up and down vote, meaning there will be no further debate on them. And one pass in Korea, that's Ramstead 621. Mincing with Minister of Foreign Affairs trade in 2007, South Korea made its free trade agreement with the United States. He's now against the explanation shows the difficulty to lead the ruling of the National Party to have a weighing consistent ratification and cooperation avoids scrutiny, resources, and unwilling to break agreements with Renneman and Falcon or 10. International cooperation is the wonderful capacity to increase political will to sustain its fund funds. Space programs also enable the program to weather attempts to rein it in even when faced with contentious and devastating costs, growth, or a bunch of realities. Analogical problems while the policymaker would pass, plan, and skip it, and winners win. Only a lost cost capital lame duck proves that Obama needs to keep winning. That's Robinson 10. Obama's administration were pronounced politically dead would change the answer to winning Americans' competitive capital. Nothing seems like success. Obama's politics would just close out a string of wins and not key to the alliance. That's Cooper 9. It is difficult to see how the core sector would make a significant difference in strategic relationship development with either country's fundamental interest in the peninsula or in Northeast Asia, and zero possibility of war on the Korean Peninsula. That's Joji 10. South Korea's leaders in Saturday ruled that going to war with North Korea, there's absolutely no possibility of a full-scale war on the Korean intense. Additionally, there's been locally peace-threatening behavior from North Korea, Lee said, being that we will strongly suppress it. I would suppress it.